Hello everyone. So this is Krista from the Sleep Better Tonight Method and the Facebook group I Just Want to Sleep community. So I speak to a lot of women and hear from a lot of women on a regular basis. And one of the complaints I hear over and over and over again, and I even as myself too, as a woman kind of in midlife too, I experience this as well. And that is a lot of fatigue, a lot of low energy, sometimes lack of motivation, and maybe even feeling like a little bit lazy or unproductive. So I thought instead of doing kind of PDF kind of version, I thought I would do this as a video because sometimes when you hear somebody say something, sometimes things can resonate a little bit differently than if you read it. So I thought I would do a video for you all that would help to explain kind of maybe why you feel this way and some proactive ways, tips, action plans to kind of move you forward so you have a little bit more energy. So that is why I thought I would do this video for you. So hopefully it's helpful. So one thing you can do today, if you're feeling kind of blah, feeling tired, simple, easy, is go for a walk. I know it sounds very basic, but it makes a huge difference. If you go for a walk outside daily, I don't think you're gonna come back and not feel a little bit of an energy boost. I walk pretty much most days, every day, for this reason, because it allows me to think. Sometimes if I've got something on my mind, I go for a walk and things are a little bit clearer. My head's a little bit, I come to some decisions and I always feel a little bit more energized when I go for a walk. So going outside will make you feel better, I promise. So I would do that. Also be mindful of your exercise. I kind of like to think of it as Goldilocks principle. If you do too much exercise, if you're killing yourself in the gym and overdoing it and you feel exhausted and spent the next day or that day, then you're probably overdoing it. If you're not doing any exercise at all, and you're just kind of laying around and not doing much, that's gonna not help you with energy, with your energy level. So getting outside for a walk to me is a good balance. And if you haven't done anything for a while, you can do that. Start 15, 20 minutes, and I promise it'll make you feel better. So that's my tip number one. And I think that'll go a long way. So number two is cut back on caffeine, stimulants, or any of those energy drinks or anything like that, alcohol as well too. I know sometimes we turn to them in a crutch because thinking that they're gonna give us more energy, but what happens slowly over time is a lot of those nutrients, a lot of those chemicals, like the caffeine and the stimulants, are actually gonna deplete your adrenal glands, which is gonna eventually cause you to be more tired. And you're gonna lose some of those vital nutrients that provide energy for you. So making sure you cut back if possible, or be mindful of how much you're consuming is a good test, is something that you can kind of do as well too. Sometimes when our body's working so hard to process all these, the alcohol, the stimulants, the caffeine, that's energy for our body, and it's gonna have a hard time processing that. So I would be careful about how much you're having. I'm not saying don't have any caffeine or alcohol, but if you're using this often, be aware that it's probably affecting your adrenal glands, which might be causing you to have that afternoon fatigue and kind of general malaise as well too. One other thing you can do today, which I find not just women our age, but certainly most of modern society, is that we're chronically dehydrated. So just, again, drinking water, more water. How much? Well, it depends what you're drinking right now. If you're not drinking any, start with 1 liter. Figure out how many glasses of water you need and start with that slowly, because most of the time that we are feeling exhausted and tired is that we're dehydrated, and we need that water to make everything more efficient in our body. You will be energized, everything will feel a little bit clearer, and it's one of the best, simplest ways to help you feel better on a regular basis. So get your water in. Muscle aches will, not to say disappear, but they're gonna help you with that. And really it goes a long way. So get your water in. One thing that I might recommend is, certainly if you don't have insomnia, I wouldn't recommend this, but even if you have a little bit of a power nap or a rest, say 15, 20 minutes, you lie down, and if you can sleep, great. If you don't, that's perfectly fine too. If you're working right now and you can't obviously like take a power nap, then just find a quiet place, close your eyes, and give yourself that 15 to 20 minutes if possible, just to rest your body. It's really important. Sometimes we don't realize that we're going all day long and we haven't allowed our body to rest. And that sometimes might be why we're wide awake in the middle of the night and having a hard time falling asleep, because we haven't allowed our body to rest. We need to decompress throughout the day and not leave everything at night to process some of that. So that's a good thing to do. Even too, like having some breath work in the middle of the day. And that might just be kind of 4 breaths in, hold for a little while, a couple breaths, and then deep breaths out, 6 breaths. If you do that periodically, it will help to lower your blood pressure, your heart rate, and will just make you feel a little bit better too. So again, simple, it's free. I know even years ago when I worked at the dental office, when I was feeling tired in between patients, sometimes I would just close my eyes and do a bunch of deep breaths, and I felt that it helped to kind of restore me, because I certainly couldn't take a nap, and it just allowed me to feel a little bit better and keep going. So don't underestimate that. Another thing that I find a lot of women our age, sometimes myself too, is just really kind of finding what fills you up. That might be an art class, it might be reading, it might be a sport or activity, something that you love to do. And because when you do this, it'll send those good hormones throughout your body, and you need to give your back to yourself. I find we're doing so much for everybody and kind of putting ourselves last. So find something that you enjoy. If you're not sure what you enjoy, think back to when you're a kid, because sometimes that might give you some ideas of where to look at and spend times. You can't just kind of, 15 minutes on a Sunday afternoon and do some self-care thinking that that's going to be enough. It really isn't. You have to do this every day. So find the time at some point. And again, it doesn't have to be an exhaustive place where you have to drive. Just make sure you kind of allow yourself to kind of give it back to yourself a little bit. And that might mean saying no, not overcommitting. That's kind of a common thing too. Say no to things that you don't want to do. Also, be mindful of those people in your life that kind of are a bit of an energy drain, that deplete you. Because again, that's going to take your energy away. So be mindful of maybe avoiding those people, or maybe not to say cut them out of your life, but maybe you have to, or just kind of minimize your contact if you're finding that they're draining you. All right. Obviously, sleep habits. I mean, I kind of talk about this a lot too. If you're not sleeping well, you're not going to have that rejuvenation or that restoration that should be occurring while you're sleeping, and you will be dragging during the day too. So obviously, that's what I can help you with. So you can reach out if you want to make sure you get your sleep hygiene on track. Obviously, circadian rhythm is huge. And one of the challenges I see for a lot of women kind of in our modern world. So you can reach out to me if you have questions with that and want more information. Another thing to consider is nutritional support. And I find if you're depleted in a lot of those vital nutrients, that will cause you to be fatigued and have less energy. B complex is a great supplement for women if they're dragging. Check your magnesium levels as well too. Also too, if you have any nutritional deficiencies, low iron is a big one for women, especially if you're still menstruating, you have heavy periods. I would definitely check your iron levels. And one other thing I would make sure you ask your doctor is not just your energy, not just your iron levels, but check your ferritin levels, because sometimes you need to ask for that. And because your iron levels might look normal, but if your ferritin doesn't have a huge storage bank in there, then you want to check that too. So check that. Check that. Vitamin D levels. Sometimes if you have really low vitamin D levels, that will cause kind of energy crashes and fatigue as well too. So something to consider if you feel like you're kind of doing a lot of things well and you still are tired all the time. You might want to explore that. Another thing is obviously you want to be eating a whole foods diet. Real food has energy, it has life force. If you look at processed packaged food, there's nothing alive in there. There's no vitamins, minerals that are going to give you the energy. So if you want to have more energy, certainly eat the foods that are alive, that are real, that will spoil, and avoid the packaged processed foods. Most of them have barcodes that, if they have a long shelf life, they're not doing anything for your body. So So I would consider that. You need a good diet. The more varied diet you have, the more vitamins, minerals you're gonna have into your diet as well too. One other thing for women, be mindful of your emotions. If a lot of us kind of tend to worry, stress about different things, and again, you need to relax and be mindful of what's going on in your life, because that's an energy sap, and until you kind of deal with that, you might have low energy. So be really mindful of your energy levels and your emotions, and kind of explore that if need be. And the last thing I want to talk about is, because some women our age are maybe taking certain medications, and if you're on high blood pressure, antidepressants, some antihistamines, one of the side effects can be a little bit of low energy. So I'm certainly not saying discontinue them, but what I'm saying is be aware that they might be causing some of this. And also, when you go for your next checkup or physical with your doctor, maybe evaluate, kind of look at dosages, and do I still need this? If so, obviously you still take them, but sometimes people don't, just kind of go on year after year after year, and maybe don't explore maybe changing dosages or when you need to take them. That might be a bit of a factor too, causing your fatigue. So it's just another thing to consider. So I hope this is helpful, and again, we want to have the energy to live the life that we want to live, and kind of be the best version of ourselves too. So I hope this gives you some insight on just some common ways to increase your energy, just so you feel better, because really that's what I want you to. I want you to feel better and live your best life and do all those things that you want to do, whether that's hang out with your kids, whether it's career-wise, travel, I guess when we can travel, grandkids, whatever. I hear different things that people want to do, start that new business and start that new hobby, but you need the energy to do that. So let's kind of hopefully get to the crux of that and find out some ways to hopefully get your energy back. All right, thank you very much, and I hope this is helpful. Take care, bye-bye.